All right, so these are 5 ways to increase your income going into 2025. I think we all have, if you're listening or you clicked on this video, you've got an inspiration to make 100 grand a year, that 6-figure mark in 2025. And obviously I've made a video on this prior, but this is going one level deeper into almost that. So maybe I'll link that one below or go check that out on my channel. Let's get right into it. Number 1, online tutoring / teaching / coaching, right? So you listening, you most likely have a specific set of knowledge or even an edge on something that you're interested in, right? Or potentially even passionate about. That knowledge, whether you know it or not, can actually be monetized. And I know it sounds silly. I'm talking even like, think of guitar lessons or think of video games or think of so many different ways. Like if you get, I'm going to go into this in point number 2, but if you get enough eyeballs on you and enough interest, you can actually sell that as a potential service or product, right? And a lot of people don't understand this, but the way that I like to view coaching personally is like, think of yourself 3 to 5 years back, right? What was your mindset like? What questions did you have about your job or your career, about life, about hobbies, right? That's what you want to focus on. There are literal billions circulating the online education space, and it's only going to get bigger. And obviously, right, this is where people are like, oh, creating online courses, like it's such a scam, it's such bullshit. It's like, yes and no, right? Like I totally understand where you're coming from. There's a lot of grifters. There's a lot of BS out there. You are correct. All right. I'll give you that. But if you're just going to unknowingly or just want to point the finger at someone because they're trying to share what they've learned or what they've taught in the past before and just immediately call it a scam, I wish I could help you, but you're already, thinking the wrong way. This has already gone well over your head. There are so many people at such a high level, we're talking like multi-billionaires who just share their information and have things that have genuinely worked for them and have impacted, millions of people. And yes, you may not need to do that, go to that scale, but you can 100% do that on a smaller, more workable scale. That's what I'm trying to do, right? And I don't know, it's just something that I think is huge. It's something that I think obviously a lot of people know about, but there's so much money to be made within it. And this goes on to point number 2, which is create content. This is an immediate segue to this. I'm actually going to do a whole separate video on just creating content in general on YouTube, Instagram, etc. But this ties into number 1. Not only can you get coaching clients from your videos, which is obviously your main source of income, you can make money on the ads itself displayed on your videos, or just a handful of other ways like sponsors or brand deals, for example. Cut out the middleman, right? Or affiliate links. There's so many ways to make money that I've now been slowly getting offers from these different brands, for example. And take this new community of COD YouTubers for, as an example. Myself and a ton of other people in just the last couple of weeks have been getting monetized because we're getting interest, right? We're talking about interesting topics. We're talking about things that have impacted our life or our specific viewpoint through our lens, and it's getting a lot of interest and resonation, which is huge, right? Like I'm so damn happy with what's been built these last few weeks, and for a guy like Weiler in a couple of months, like these people are paving the way, and we're making a big, I guess a big in our eyes, but small impact on the world, which is really cool. So creating content can be your funnel for everything that you want to do. Everything is easier with an audience, right? Think of everyone that you follow. Look, like, what did they start with? They started with an audience. Their audience is the top of funnel to everything that operates within their business, within their life, and personal brand. So that's number 2. Number 3, freelancing or gig work. I don't mean to beat a dead horse. I know I've talked about this so many damn times on this channel, but I want to backtrack a little bit. It's like, obviously, if you already have a marketable skills, market and sell the hell out of them as a service offer, right? You want to sell that to businesses or to small businesses to make money. This is, again, what I did. I understand you may not have a skill though, which is totally fine. This is, the common theme that was on my past videos was like, dude, like, this sounds great. You're in a great position, but I don't have what you have. I don't have your know-how. I don't have your skill set. I barely even understand what you do or what you did in your role at the old company. Like, can you explain that more? So I'm going to think of, sales and marketing, think of paid ads, think of software development, web dev, web design or web development. These are all skills, right? These are all high value skills that you could charge a lot of money for, right? Whether on a freelance basis, which is what I would recommend personally, or just in a general basis, right? You can make a ton of money by learning these things. So if you don't already have that, that's fine. This is going to go into kind of 4 and 5, especially point number 5, but slowly learn the skills, invest in yourself. This is why I like online education. I've invested personally tens of thousands of dollars into courses and consulting and people who are further ahead of me. That's how I got ahead, was by, all right, being like, okay, if this guy's 10 steps ahead of me, I could either grind through step 1 to 9 all by myself and still make it for sure, but it's going to take me so much more time, or I can just jump to step 10, take all this guy's knowledge from his head, pay him for his time for it, and then kind of roll from there. And that's obviously what I did. I did that second part, and it made me everything. And it also saved me a ton of time. So just think of that in the back of your mind, that people, businesses specifically, will pay you for your skill set, right? And if you don't have one, that's fine. Take 6 months. Take that, time to learn these types of things, and you're going to make a crap load of money because of it, right? So anyways, number 4, these next 2 points are kind of going into, if you already have a 9 to 5 and you just want to de-risk a little bit, you want to keep it. You like business, you like the thought of owning your own business, but you just want to keep that rolling for a couple more years or whatever. That's totally fine. I actually recommend that to a certain extent. Don't quit your job if your job is paying the bills, you enjoy it, and you just want to, tough it out for a couple more years to stack your cash and plan your exit. I actually, totally fine. I recommend that. So number 4, find a side remote or work job. Keyword is remote, right? If you have the time, obviously an extra 10 to maybe 20 hours, if you're a single young guy or you're just living at home or whatever, you could get a remote job on the side. The big bonus of that is it can be done from anywhere, right? You have location freedom, and it's obviously even better if you can get your own hours. So some type of sales gig or something where you can still work within a company, quote unquote, but you almost have your own kind of entrepreneurial journey, if you will, to where you can build your own business within a company. That's possible for so many of these roles popping up. So just think about that, because that is a huge possibility for a lot of people. They just may not think about that. Go on Fiverr, go on Upwork, go on these job board sites that people are like, hey, I'm not really, looking for the full 40-hour grind employee. I'm looking for someone who just wants to, make some extra side cash, a couple $100 a week. Now, I could tell you right now to go drive Uber and go drive DoorDash or whatever. It's like, sure, but there's a lot of barriers between that, right? You don't need just a laptop. You need a physical car. You are only bound to one city or location. I've personally seen the horror stories of getting paid pennies for your time. I don't know how bad it is in certain states, but where I'm at, it's like you don't make much, especially after taxes and all the other fees that they get in. So it's like, if you want to, do it. If I absolutely had to, sure, I would. But you need a lot of things to get through that. Barrier to entry for an online side remote job is so much lower than that. So that's what I personally would recommend if I were in your position. Now, the 5th one, this is obviously if you're working a warehouse job. Obviously, this may not apply to you. Sorry, this gameplay is, I don't know what the hell happened. Both of these were from my file share from like 10 plus years ago. So they're just Moabs on the side, and it's, playing in the background. But anyways, this is for someone who doesn't have a warehouse job. If you do, that's fine. This could still apply to you. But someone with like a startup or within a just tech role in general, this would be key for you. And this is just ask for the raise, ask for the promotion. This is such a stupidly easy way that if warranted, you could literally make an extra 20 to 30%, 35% on your salary by just asking. I want to tell a quick story. The stupid thing that I did was wait too damn long and wait for the owner, my upper management, to tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, now I think you're ready for a raise. It's like they're going to try to extend. Companies will try to get everything out of you without paying you for it. That's just law of nature, right? That's just going to happen. At least that's from my experience. Maybe not all companies are like that, but I would 100% argue most are, right? So, buddy of mine, when I was still working at this old call center company for real estate, him and I were constantly competing for top performer status. And one day, it keeps going in and out, and he had like a really good kind of 2-month streak of just crushing it. He was crushing it. He was an amazing guy. He was a couple years older than me, and we were in a hyper growth phase. We were hiring more call reps, and him and I came in at an earlier time, and we had a lower base salary and a lower bonus. These newer reps were getting a higher base salary right off the rip with arguably less experience than us, and a kind of what am I looking for? Higher base salary and higher splits on bonus. We're like, what the hell? That's not really fair. So he goes into it and he just confronts the owner straight up. He's like, hey man, I've been, I'm hearing within the circle that you're paying more from a base salary perspective on these ones. Nothing wrong. You do what you got to do as a company, but I've been top performer here for the last 6 months. He's working here, last 6 months. He was top performer of that for 2 months. And we're sitting here like, he's just kind of twiddling his thumbs being like, I want to get paid more. Like I deserve it. All he did was ask. The owner goes, all right, set up a meeting. Let's do it this Friday. And I was sitting right beside him. I obviously didn't hear the damn thing, but I was sitting right beside him. And he comes off the call because it was a rope call. And he's like, I got it, done. And I was like, how the hell did he, they're giving it to you? He's like, yeah, done, dude. You should just ask. And I was so much of a pussy to ever ask. I waited for almost a year past that day to finally ask for the raise. And I technically didn't even ask for it. I was kind of hinting at it. And then he, a week later, came back, tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey man, let's chat about your pay. And I was so pissed looking back, being like, dude, I should have asked so much sooner. So please, if you have, value, if you have some type of case study to bring to your boss and be like, hey, this is why I should get the raise. And here's the data to prove it. Do it. 100% do it. You will not be regretting it. And it's only a win-win from there. So as always, if you've made it this far, I want to see you win, and we'll see you in the next one.